Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mac Story.
Since the Discovering Leadership and Personal Growth and Development books in 2008, I've read hundreds of books. I've been reading every day since 2008. 10 years. What's amazing is the first book that I was introduced to is still the number one book on my list after hundreds of books. So I want to share with you some about that book. And I'm going to do a short series to kind of introduce you to it and tell you how it impacted my life. So I shared a little bit with you on some past episodes. So I'm going to recap there just a little bit. In 2005, my coworker, a friend of mine, took my iPod, loaded a bunch of music on it, loaded what he called a business book on there as well. When he brought it back, he told me about that. It was basically a 1-hour audio version of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen R. Covey. And I didn't know that time that there was an entire book on that. And I didn't know if I had the audio book, it would be nearly 13 hours. I didn't know all that. So what I actually had was an overview, an outline, kind of with the key points of the 7 habits. And that's where my journey started. So when I say I read every day, actually these days I do literally read every day. But that could also be listening to audiobooks. That still, falls in the area of reading every day. And I watch leadership, personal growth, development videos sometimes. So, any of that personal development, whether it's reading, listening to audios, or watching videos, any of that stuff I just call it reading. So I'm doing one of those things every day. And so that's when it started. So pretty quick. And again, that book changed my life. I think about it every day. I talk about it every day. And it's just amazing that was the one that inspired me to change my life. And it was the first one. And it's still number one. So pretty quick after I got to playing that video, that audio, was an audio. When I started playing the audio, Dr. Covey says, if you truly want to learn this content, you have to start teaching it to others within 24 to 48 hours. And I actually started talking about it, but I didn't really start teaching it because that line didn't resonate with me instantly. I kept playing. I went on past that. But what happened was after I finished the audio, I played it over and over and over, the whole thing, just repeated it over and over and over a bunch of times. So that's when that line stood out to me. It was several replays later, I heard him, and that resonated. If you truly want to learn this content, start teaching it to others within 24 to 48 hours. So that's what I did. Once that resonated, I started teaching it and sharing it with everybody intentionally. And, today I've read hundreds of books, and today that's what I do for a living is speak and teach and train about leadership development and personal growth, and written 12 books. I never knew any of that was going to happen. I hope that somehow some of my podcasts or my books inspire you and others to do the same kind of thing. That's why I'm so passionate about the blue collar workforce, because we've been overlooked, underdeveloped, and underappreciated for so long. I want to be the person that gets out there and spreads it and finds other people like you that want to help me spread it. And let's go grow and develop the blue collar workforce and those people who lead them to an entirely new level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 7-part series since there's 7 habits. And I'm going to break it down into 7. There'll be 7 parts to follow this. And I'll talk about each habit and some of what I learned and how it allowed me to start beginning to transform my life. But the key thing is, on today's episode, that one little nugget, if you truly want to learn this stuff, if you want to do more than just listen, that's one thing about me that's different than a lot of people who read books, quotes, listen to podcasts, audios. I don't just listen to them, or I don't just read. I look for these nuggets, and then I figure out, how do I become intentional about applying this in my life? Where can I apply it? What can I do different? What can I change? And then I start doing it. So many people think, oh, that sounds cool. And they'll click like on social media and then never think about it again. Or they'll read a book and they'll underline it and highlight it and never think about it again. So that doesn't do us any good. We've actually got to take action on these principles and these nuggets. So remember, if you truly want to learn this content, if you capture a nugget in anything I'm saying, write it down, get on your phone, put it in a note file, do something, but start telling other people. And the more you tell people, the more you're going to remember it, but the more you're also going to remember to apply these principles. So hope you have a great day. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.